Right, and right, welcome back to M-tel Garage Services. Last video you watched me putting the inner sill in. Now we're going to be sorting out this rear floor pan. It's all basically the rear floor pan all around here, which is rotted away. And basically this sink mount is gone. There's a big crack going through the floor up here, all the way around there. So that this floor pan's coming out. We've got a replacement pan, which is here. So we're going to be putting that in. I've already pulled the fuel and brake lines down at the bottom to keep them out of the way, and now we're going to be cutting it out. So we're going to get cut. Boom! One dead rotten lovely floor pan. Need to keep this because it's got brackets on the bottom of it. Go over there. Right, I've now got the floor pan out. I've got a couple of little bits of metal that I want to get out, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my electric drill out. I'm going to drill the top like that. Then the chisel, and then put the two skins apart. Yeah, keep going. I've got to do these ones along here, a couple along here, and a couple along the back. So I'll get them out and then we'll continue on from there. Basically, now the real job, what I'm doing today, is obviously you saw what I was doing last. I'm doing the rear floor pan on this Escort RS Turbo. Now this is the new floor pan. Now I did say about previously, this lip which is on the side of this floor pan is pointing up, and it needs to be pointing down so you can clamp the actual layers of metal together underneath the car and plug weld it all together to get a good joint. So what I'm doing today is I need to flip this joint. Now what I've got to do first of all is I need to straighten it out. Now when you straighten it out, you can't just bend it straight. You've got to slowly work it over, because if you just bend that bit, what'll happen is where the metal comes up to the top, it will stretch, and then what'll happen is when you turn it round, it will basically go like an Atlantic Ocean, basically, and be like wobbling all over the place. So the best thing to do is just to slowly tease it down and slowly tease it round. Put this in the vise. I'll open the vise up. Open this in the vise. Yeah, now what we need to do is just straighten this edge up nicely. Basically, we get a nice head mark in there, go by. Okay. There we go. Right. That's that. Now what we need to do is tease it round the other way. Now this is where the vise comes in. So basically, what we need to do, I'm going to do it this way so you can see, but I'm only going to be able to go so far, and then I'll have to turn it round basically. What I'm going to do is get it in the vise like so. get it where you want it, and we're going to go for that. So we're in the middle of the line. Give it a little clamp up and basically push it over. Now we come so far, now we need to start folding it. Nice and straight. There you go. Floor's been spun nicely. All turned round. And that is now ready to be drilled out and then basically put it in the car, clamped onto the inner sill and plug welded from the inside out. There you go. Spot on. Alright, let's get back to the car. As you can see, I've trimmed the floor pan up now, and I've basically put it back in the hole. I've flipped the lip around on the floor so it's pointing down rather than up, so then I can clamp the sill together. I've cleaned all the edges up, cleaned up all the metal. I've drilled out all the spot welds, cleaned all the joints up, ready to actually put the pan in, and literally I'm pretty much ready to weld this floor pan up. Yeah, basically, where the fuel lines come through here, obviously if I weld this gap up and I accidentally go through, I can arc out on the fuel lines, and then basically there's fuel inside the line, so it will ignite and we'll have a very interesting time as the car basically catches on fire, and then we'll get the fire extinguisher out. So the best way to do is I've got a little bit of this heat-proof matting, which is a glass matting, and I'm just going to basically put that over the top of the fuel lines underneath there. And if I accidentally go through, I'll just hit the glass matting and it will stop me from arcing on the fuel lines. Right, there we go. Now I've got my bar in, squared that sill up. So I've clamped it pretty much the whole length of the sill to keep that straight, basically, to get a nice straight sill. I've clamped it where the actual jacking point is, to keep that nice and tight there. Run it all the way down the side. I've then located my floor pan into position, the cross member and the rear corner part of the floor. I've checked the height of it all the way down to make sure it's still straight. So you not only have you got to make sure it's straight along, you've got to make sure that your floor isn't bowing like that. So everything's got to be true at 90-degree angles. So we're all square now, and we're pretty much ready to start welding and tacking this floor pan in. Right, here we go then. So as you can see, I'm all straight. So now what we're going to do, like I said, is we're going to start welding this up. So I'm going to put a small tack in the corner, both ends of the floor, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the mould grips down, and then I'm going to put a weld every so many inches down the inside. Now what that's done now, by doing them two little welds, so I've got that little one there, that little one there, that has now pretty much set the position for this sill to inner sill, and so we can keep a nice straight line. Now it's all about moving this floor about into the right position so we can then tack it into the car. So as you can see, this floor doesn't suit very well up underneath here. So with a little bit of work and a little bit of pushing, we can then get that up into place. So what I think my next job will be, I'll get a nice bit of wood, stick it underneath there, get a couple of blocks under there, block it up, wedge this part of the floor up underneath, put in this joint together, and then we can do a couple of welds, plug that in down there, and then that will then push the floor round, because at the moment where that's dropped down, the pan is kind of gone like that. So it's pulled back, so we've opened a joint up. We've opened up to, we're nice and tight here, but we've got about 3-4 mil gap up there, and that's because that's too low. So as we lift that up and tighten that into the back section of that floor, it will then push the pan round like that and allow me then to close the gap up, and then I can then anchor the corner in, and then we'll tap all the edges together, and then we will stitch it in. Right, okay, we've now pushed this floor back where it's got to be. So now push it up tight underneath this. So I'm going to plug weld these sections together. There. Boom. That's it. And we've got another point that's touching here. So anywhere where it touches, single weld in. That's another one. So, got that one there. So, next, push this corner down into place. So, we want one right. Right, and there we go. It's pretty much all welded in. I've got to do the plugs along the inside, but that's no big deal. But other than that, there's a little bit that needs doing there, but I need to reposition the motor over the pit so I can tap the tunnel back into the right position. But yeah, one new fitted floor pan. It's not so important, obviously, that the plug welds ain't done, because I've stitched it every so many inches down the inside of the inner sill. So the floor is, she's well in there, nice joint, all done. So that's pretty much how you put a floor pan into a Series 2 Escort RS Turbo. Obviously, if you like my videos, please share and like them and subscribe. Thank you very much.